The opinions expressed in the video you are about to see are solely those of boattest.com and its test captain.
Today, we're going to show you how digital controllability for our boats has evolved with the latest round of features of the Volvo Penta EVC system that includes all new components and software.
Now, we've gotten a lot of feedback at Boat Test from you boaters saying that you don't understand what EVC is. It's electronic vessel control, and it's an exclusive feature put out by Volvo Penta. It consists of multiple components, and I want to go over some of those with you. EVC starts with the engine controls. These are digital controls that are fly-by-wire, and it's on every EVC system. Now let's talk about trim control. With EVC, you've got the standard trim on your engine control, so you can operate it with your thumb. You also have individual trim controls just forward here, so you can counter uneven distribution of weight, perhaps. But EVC does a lot more than that. Sometimes people have trouble controlling the trim at all. EVC will do it automatically for you. On the back of the engine control is a trim assist, and that sets the EVC into the automatic trim mode. Now what that means as an operator is that as you bring your power up and the boat starts coming up, the EVC will automatically adjust the trim of the boat for you. You don't have to worry about it. But what happens if it's not set quite right? If it's giving you a little bit of operator-reduced oscillation, as it were, and you need to adjust that trim out? You can also override with the thumb control, or you can automatically go into the parameters and adjust the trim for where you want at each RPM setting. Another EVC feature is cruise control. You push the cruise control button, and it works just like the cruise control in your car.
Once at a set speed, you can incrementally increase or decrease RPM by way of the plus and minus button at the front of the control. The system allows you to alter your speed by up to 20% of where the throttle is currently set. That works out to be about 1,000 RPM total, 50 RPM for each press of the button.
This works great if you're in a no-wake zone and you just want to go a little bit faster, a little bit slower. You don't have to mess with the controls, just use the plus or minus button. If you're in cruise mode, it's also very convenient if you happen to be following somebody that's a little bit slower, a little bit faster than you. You don't want to go crossing their wake. A little bit of plus, a little bit of minus gets you right at the speed you're looking for. Throttle only is another feature. Remember how you used to have to push the button in on the side and then you've just got throttle only? Now you push throttle only and you can rev the engine up without being in gear and launching off. Great for when you're testing at the dock or if you have a little trouble starting. Another feature is single lever. I really like this feature. When you push the single lever button, whichever lever you move forward becomes the dominant lever, and now that will control the boat, and both engines will be synchronized with that one lever. The other one does nothing. But say you don't like the starboard lever. If I turn it off, turn it on again, use the port lever. That now becomes the dominant lever, synchronizes both engines. The other one does nothing. Very cool feature. But you don't have to use the single lever to have your engines synchronized. Anytime you've got the engines within about 10% of each other, the two engines will synchronize together. There's also a control lockout. If you just hold the station button, you'll hear two beeps, and now it's locked out. Nice if you have kids that you don't want messing with the controls. There's one other thing about EVC that I want to show you that I'm really impressed with, and it has to do with the ignitions. Instead of turning the key and leaving it turned while you crank the engine, you just turn the key, hit the starter, and then let go, and it will keep the starter running until the engine engages. Not only does it start the engines automatically for you without having to hold the key, it disengages the starter when the engines are running, so I can keep turning the key here and nothing happens. I'm not going to blow out my starter. Nice feature. The EVC controls are mounted right onto the engine controls, and this is a new set of engine controls. We're the first ones to see it, and we're bringing it to you. Now, the heart of the EVC is this 7-inch display panel that goes right into your dash. You can have several different displays. This one, you can see right here, it says My View. Next is the engine display, gives you all of the engine parameters. Fuel economy. The vessel view gives you sea temperature, depth, boat speed, rudder angle, and fuel level. And then your settings. We spent most of the day on My View, and it's completely customizable. We kept changing it so that I had the displays coming up with only the information I wanted. And it's very easy to do. You go to OK. You can either do Customize, set the trim adjust, the depth alarm. All these functions are just easily accessible. Let's go to Customize, hit OK. I can modify. You go to which gauge you want to modify. I don't need the oil pressure, so I'm going to press that. I can go to an analog gauge, I can replace it, or remove it entirely. Now I've just got 3 gauges, and I back out, and there's only 3 instead. If I want to go back to the factory default, I hit Customize, go to Restore Default View, OK, exit, and there's your factory default setting. Very easy to change it to any way you want with just simple controls. Part of making a system like this is making it simple to operate, and I think Volvo Penta did a good job with this display.
In my opinion, EVC is a major leap forward in bringing the human element together with helm control in ways previously reserved for much larger boats. That, coupled with the ability to customize the display to suit your desires, makes EVC a huge benefit to boaters. And once the EVC is integrated into your new build, because the digital engine controller is plug and play, trim assist, cruise, and single lever are options that can be installed at the Volvo Penta factory, at the manufacturer, or even at authorized dealers. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.